Hi guys, welcome back to another video with Pratham Test Prep. This is your host Sanjeev Bhatia and we are back with a new video and we are starting a new series called Legal Darpan, right? So as you might have known that we have been doing a lot of law series for a long period of time. So we have started with this new series where you can subscribe to our channel and you will be able to get all the current affairs on your tip on the basis of your YouTube only, and you can definitely hit us on the like button also for the regular interaction with all the mentors who are there, right? So if you are not a part of a Telegram channel, do make sure that you are subscribing to our Telegram channel for all the updates you need, law exam updates, any patterns that have changed in the exams, regular subject-based quizzes that are being taken on there, and concept explainers that are being uploaded by the mentors. So you can make sure by subscribing to this channel, you will get all of this information on your tips. Now, coming to the first part, that what is the first news for the day? So, Durai ration scheme has been declared void. So, there was a division of the Calcutta High Court that has held that the Durai ration scheme is ultra virus of the National Food Security Act of 2013, that is NFSA. Now, it is called that the scheme is illegal as it coincides with the FSA of 2013. Next is that the West Bengal transgressed the limit of delegation by obliging the fair price shop dealers to undertake doorstep delivery of rations, since there are no provisions specifying the same in the NFSA. Okay, so the West Bengal has taken ultra virus step of taking ahead with the fair price shops and also going for doorstep delivery. Now, doorstep delivery of food grains can be provided only if the act is amended by the central government for the doorstep delivery, or to provide such power to the state government. Either or, both the things should have happened. Either they should have given them the power to do the same, or they should have changed the act, right? So they didn't do either or. Now, earlier the viruses of the Durari ration scheme was upheld by two single judge orders in the Calcutta High Court, so it has been declared void for now. Now, Justice Moshni Bhattacharya upheld the scheme in December of 2021, stating that a reform in the targeted distribution system and welfare scheme to provide food and nutritional security is critical. So the judge has stated that. Now, Justice Krishna Rao was also of the similar view, that held that NFSA and the rules in the statutory orders issued under Section 3 of the Essential Commodities Act do not specify that the state government is not entitled to extend the benefit to the beneficiary under the NFSA of 2013. So every judge has its own concern regarding the scheme itself. Now, about the scheme, what was happening in the scheme? So Durai ration scheme was launched by the state government of West Bengal to provide the PDS, that is the public distribution system, at the doorstep of entire population of the state. Okay, that was the scheme basically. Now coming to under the scheme, around 21,000 ration dealers were provided with financial assistance up to rupees 1 lakh to purchase vehicles for delivering the rations at doorstep, right? So there were a lot of investments that were also done by the government in such ration shops to increase their reach basically, right? A similar scheme was launched by Delhi government, but it was halted by Delhi High Court itself. Okay, so there are a lot of concerns that are always on these such kind of schemes and ration schemes specifically. So you have to check that out also. Now, I'm sorry, live streaming of constitutional bench proceedings. Now, all of us are there on YouTube live streaming this basic video for our legal current affairs. So the constitutional bench also needs to do its live streaming on YouTube and other social or other social setup, right? Social media setups that are there. So for the first time India's apex court live streamed the three separate constitutional bench proceedings simultaneously on YouTube, right? So they were putting out this on YouTube as a live stream event also now. Now coming to more than 8 lakh people viewed the proceedings before the three constitutional benches. The live stream was closely monitored by the technical support teams of the court to ensure the smooth proceedings, because they want to get all of this into public. The public should not only know the judgment, right? It was earlier stated by the Supreme Court that it is the right of the basic public to understand how did the court came on to that conclusion, right? So they can see the entire proceedings that are there on YouTube itself. Now coming to the next part is that the case was heard by these benches that are challenged to 10% quota for economic weak sections of the society, the scuffle between Chief Minister Shinde faction and the Uddhav Thackeray camp over the real Shiv Sena party, and the challenge to the All India Bar Examination post-enrollment for lawyers. So these were the three cases that were being done online, and they were being live streamed online by the apex court, that is the Supreme Court. Now, the initiative aims to bring obviously judiciary close to the citizens living across India, especially the important hearings having constitutional significance. So you can see that their aim was very clear, that everybody should understand what are these proceedings exactly happening and what is the effect or what are the important hearings having constitutional significance, which will also affect their life, right? So they have to see all the parts of it. Now, the initiative was a result of the meeting of the Supreme Court judges on September 20th. That's why they were able to live stream the event. Now, in the future, the apex court would also use a dedicated platform for live streaming the hearing, which is very, very important. If someone wants to watch their hearing online, they can definitely do that without going to the courtroom. So the next news for the day, that is the Kannada Language Comprehensive Development Bill. This is a new bill that has come up. Now this bill was tabled at the Karnataka Legislative Assembly, that is called the KLA. Now the Karnataka Language Comprehensive Development Bill gives preference to Kannadigas in government jobs and provides reservations to locals in private jobs generated in the state. Now, the bill defines Kannadigas as individuals whose parents have resided in Karnataka for a minimum of 15 years with the knowledge of reading and writing Kannada, right? So that is what the bill is exactly saying. Now, under the bill, practical and functional knowledge of Kannada will be taught in higher technical and professional educational courses, right? So if you are going for doing an engineering in Karnataka, you might have to learn Kannada, right? So that is what the rule is. Now, the comes next is students who have studied in Kannada medium schools will get reservation in higher education in Karnataka, and also it will deny land concession, tax rebates, and other incentives to private companies that do not recruit at least a minimum percent of Kannadigas. So they are providing reservations to the localites in such a way. I'm sorry. Government jobs in the state will be provided if the Kannada language is passed, and this exam is not required for individuals who have passed class 10 with Kannada as their first or second language. So that's what they are trying to do here, is that to provide a distinct advantage to the people of the state and the people who are specially Kannadigas. So that is what they are trying to do here by this bill itself. Now coming to the next part is that the Committee for Pharma Marketing Practices. So if you had heard, right now there was a lot of trouble that was caused to the doctors regarding the way that they are taking their medical treatments, okay, that they are exploiting the patients by charging money and giving them the drugs where they get a commission out of it, right? So pharma marketing practices are under an eye and the scrutiny of the government right now. So the high level committee has been set up to regulate the promotion of the pharmaceutical products, that is medicines, that your doctor is not taking money from these pharma companies just to prescribe you those medicines. So they have to check that how to regulate the promotion of the pharmaceutical products especially. Now coming to the next part is that they have set up a 5-member committee that will be chaired by Dr. V.K. Paul of Niti Aayog, and also they will create a legal mechanism to address the issue of the pharmaceutical company giving incentives to promote their drugs and products. So every doctor has a basic cut when they go and promote the medicine of that particular company. So that is what the government is trying to curb here particularly. Now coming to the next part is that the committee will examine the Uniform Code of Pharmaceutical Marketing Practices, Indian Medical Counseling Regulations of 2002, and the CBDT rules which are involved in regulation of marketing practices of pharma companies. Now coming to the UCPMP, which was unveiled in 2015, will prevent unethical practices of the pharma companies by regulating their marketing, sample distribution, and gifts. The code also governs hospitality and cash or monetary grants to physicians and their families. It is voluntary and not enforceable. Okay. Now, the Gujarat government has withdrawn the cattle control bill that they took out. That the bill was in the Legislative Assembly has unanimously withdrawn the bill after the protest from cattle rearing communities across the state. Now, the proposed legislation was sought to ban movement of stray cattle on roads and public places in the urban regions of Gujarat. So that was the ban that they were putting on. So it covered 8 major cities: Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Surat, Rajkot, Gandhinagar, Jamnagar, Bhavnagar, and Junagadh, as well as 162 towns in Gujarat. Now the Gujarat Act in urban areas will mandate the cattle rearers to obtain a license to keep animals like stray cows and bulls in cities and towns and get them tagged, right? So these were some of the very, very essential rules that were being made in such a bill. So they had to follow them also. Now coming to the next part is that if the owner of the cattle fails to tag their cattle in 15 days, he would be punished with an imprisonment that may extend up to 1 year or be fined with rupees 10,000 or both. So you can see that a cattle rearer is already coming from a different strata of the society, and charging them 10,000 rupees as a fine if they're not able to tag their cattle is something which is catastrophic. So you need to see that that's why they had to take the bill, because there was so much protest against it. Now the legislators also prohibit feeding of fodder to cattle in non-designated places in cities, as creates nuisance in public spaces, like especially on the roads. An individual who assaults officials or create hurdles during cattle catching operations by the civic officers, he will face a 1-year imprisonment and must incur a minimum fine of rupees 50,000. So you can see that the fines are set to a very, very high limit here. Now, the bill was introduced to curb the practice of keeping cows, buffaloes, bulls, goats in urban regions, causing issues for people living in cities when these animals stray on roads and other public places, right? A lot of accidents have been caused on the highways because of cows coming on the highways also. So that's why these things were need to be kept in check, but due to a huge protest, they were removed. Now, draft of Indian Telecommunication Bill of 2022. So there was a bill that was unveiled recently by the Department of Telecommunication for the stakeholders' comments. The objective was to consolidate and to make an existing laws for the development, expansion, and operation of telecommunication services, telecom network and infrastructure in India, right? So that was the aim of the bill. Now, it merges 3 acts that governs the Indian telecom sector. That is the Indian Telegraph Act of 1885, Indian Wireless Technology Act of 1933 and the Telegraph Wires Act of 1950. So these are the basic drafts that they have taken out. Now they have draft bill to propose to include the OTT communication services also, like WhatsApp, Signal, and Telegram under the definition of telecommunication services too. Now, this means that the OTT services will be subjected to the rules that will be made by the telecom operators, and which forces operators to incur higher cost of licensing and spectrum. Currently, OTT players are providing free services due to lack of these provisions. So it is possible that WhatsApp can be a paid service. You never know. Coming to the next news for the day is Criminal Procedure Identification Act of 2022. So the Home Affairs Ministry has notified the rules regarding the CRPC, that the Criminal Procedure Identification Act of 2022. The Criminal Procedure repeals the Identifications of Prisoners Act of 1920, whose scope was limited to collecting finger impressions, footprint impressions, and photographs of the convicted person and certain categories of arrest and non-convicted persons on the basis of the order from the magistrate. Now, the new law enables police and central investigation agencies to collect, store, analyze physical and biological samples like retina and iris scans of the arrested individuals, right? So they can now go to one more level of taking the impressions and the biometrics of such people. Now coming to the next news for the day, Karnataka Right to Freedom of Religion Bill was recently passed by the State Legislative Council. The anti-conversion bill was passed by the Legislative Assembly in December of 2021, and the bill bans forced religious conversions by direct or indirect means, right? Now it gives specific procedures for undertaking a religious conversion, and also a penalty to anyone who forcibly converts a minor woman, SC, ST, or a person of unsound mind with 3 to 10 imprisonment years, or a fine of rupees 50,000 and a fine of 50,000. So that means that both the things can happen to them together. Now coming to the next is mass conversion could also result in 3 to 10 years of imprisonment and 1 lakh rupees fine. So that's what can happen here if you are indulging into mass conversion. Now coming to the next part, under this legislation, any individual that will convert to their religion must submit a declaration within 30 days before the conversion to the district magistrate that yes, I am going to convert into another religion and I am just giving an information to the district magistrate. Now, the religious conversions always also required to submit a form to the DM, that is the district magistrate. Now the district magistrate would notify the proposed religious conversions on the notice board of the offices of DM and Tehsildar. Within 30 days, anyone can file an objection on the conversion, and if any objection occurs, the DM is required to conduct an inquiry. Now, any conversion that occurs while not following the procedure will be illegal and void. Okay, so you have to give a letter and fill up the form in front of the DM. Then the DM will publish it in the notice boards, and also then if there's any other like objection that comes on that, then they have to do the investigation. If nothing is there, then your conversion will be successful, and if anyone is not following this process, their conversion will be considered to be illegal or void. So that is it for today, guys. I hope you were able to gain some knowledge on some legal affairs that we have discussed. I have tried to cover almost all of them that have happened in the past few weeks. So do make sure that you're hitting on the like, share, and subscribe button. And also do make sure that you hit on the bell icon for the regular updates, so that we can keep giving you the episodes of this legal Darpan that will be continued till the exam of your CLAT. So do make sure that you're subscribed to our channel, and don't forget to hit on the like button. Thank you for joining this live session, and have a nice day ahead.